We knew that the Red Sox had a couple of roster decisions to make, but I don't think anyone saw this coming. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and before we get into the video today, I do want to let you know that we are going to be live tomorrow night, Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, as opposed to our regular Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be a day game, so I figured it'd be better to do it on Tuesday. So again, our live stream this week is going to be on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time to watch the Red Sox take on the Baltimore Orioles. Anyways, we knew that this Red Sox bullpen was pretty thin right now, right? The Red Sox had been running a six-man rotation for about a week now, and what we were seeing from this Red Sox bullpen was, one, once your top dogs went down, the bullpen got a little thin, and two, we were seeing Caleb Ward in critical situations like we saw against the Mariners just yesterday, and we were seeing Ryan Brazier coming in the ninth inning to face Ohtani and Trout, right? We were seeing guys who normally wouldn't be put into situations like that, because of the lack of depth in this Red Sox bullpen due to the six-man rotation. Well, the Red Sox appear to be trying to figure out a solution to that problem with this latest roster move, and boy, is it a doozy. So what we're going to do in today's video is we are going to break down this latest Red Sox roster move, why it was made, possibilities surrounding it, and we're going to be talking about what the Red Sox do from here, how this move affects the 2023 Boston Red Sox. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure to hit the like button as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Let's start by breaking down the first half of this transaction. The first half actually makes a lot of sense. The Red Sox have brought up left-handed reliever Brennan Bernardino from AAA Worcester. Now, this move makes sense for a couple of reasons. The first is that Bernardino does have major league experience. It is a very small sample size, but at least it's some major league experience. He's been here before. Last year, he made his major league debut. Now, he only pitched 2.1 innings with the Seattle Mariners in 2022, and in those 2.1 innings, Bernardino had a 3.86 ERA with a 1.14 ERA plus, so he was slightly above average production-wise on the mound in those 2.1 innings, but there were also some concerns in that small sample size as well. In those 2.1 innings, Bernardino had a 5.68 FIP, indicating that his below 4 ERA did have a little bit of luck in there. He also had a 2.143 WHIP, which means that he was having a lot of runners on base. There was a lot of traffic on the base pass, but again, it was a really small sample size, and Bernardino has actually been really good at the minor league level. Last year at the AAA level, Bernardino had a 2.20 ERA, a below 1 WHIP of just 0.857, and a 9.6 K per 9 in 23 total games. So he had a good year last year at the AAA level, and that's the type of year from a AAA reliever that could indicate that he could be effective at the major league level. Now, so far this year at the AAA level, he did get off to a slow start. He had an 11-ish ERA before he was dropped by the Mariners and picked up by the Red Sox, but in his first start with the Woo Sox so far this year, he went 2 scoreless innings on Sunday, and that brought his ERA down to a mere 9 ERA, right? So a bit of a slow start for Bernardino, but definitely something that he can work on and build upon. And like I said when we first started talking about him, this move makes sense, right? He's a left-handed reliever, so one, you're reinforcing your bullpen by adding another available arm into it, and two, you're adding versatility to this bullpen. Right now, the Red Sox only have one left-handed reliever in Richard Bleier, and Richard Bleier has been really great recently, but did not get off to the best start. So having an overall reinforcement to this Red Sox bullpen is exactly what they're looking for, and on top of that, you're adding versatility that the Red Sox did not have before calling up Bernardino. So overall, the move to call up Brennan Bernardino makes a lot of sense. It adds versatility and it reinforces this bullpen. That's not the part that's shocking people. The part that's shocking people is how the Red Sox made room for him on this 40-man roster. Because to make room for Brennan Bernardino, the Red Sox have sent Brayan Bello to AAA Worcester. Now, there are a couple things to remember before we start freaking out. The first is that Brayan Bello did not get off to the hottest start at the Major League level this year. Granted, it was only 2 starts, but in those 2 starts, Brayan Bello has a 9.82 ERA with 49 ERA plus, making him about as half as productive as the average pitcher in baseball so far this year. He had a 6.33 FIP, so that really high ERA did have some bad luck incorporated into it, but that's still a really high FIP, and he had a 2.182 WHIP, which again, probably means that there was a lot of runners on base paths during his outings. Now, again, this is a small sample size of just 7.1 innings. Another thing to remember is that Brayan Bello is the only starter in this Red Sox rotation right now who does have options. Tanner Houck technically has options left, but you're not going to option Tanner Houck to AAA Worcester when he's been producing the way he's been producing at the Major League level. So there is some merit to this decision, but to me, it was shocking. And the biggest reason for me why it was so shocking that Brayan Bello got sent down to AAA Worcester is because out of all of the pitchers in this rotation right now, Brayan Bello has by far and away the highest ceiling, right? He's really the only pitcher in this rotation before he was sent down that has the potential to be a top line starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. Everyone else in this rotation, aside from maybe Chris Sale, but you'd have to see a lot from Chris Sale to be a top line starter again, is sort of a middle of the road, at best a 2 starter in every other organization, right? Brayan Bello had the most potential. But at the same time too, when you take a look at this current rotation without Bello incorporated into it, you're looking at Tanner Houck and Nick Pivetta, who were the biggest candidates to be sent to the bullpen, but they're also 2 of those guys who have been giving you pretty quality starts all year. Specifically Tanner Houck, who's been really great in terms of just getting through innings and allowing your team to be able to score runs and win ball games. They've been really good at doing that. Nick Pivetta's really only had 1 clunker so far this year. Neither of them looked like they would really benefit this team by going to the bullpen. You've got Corey Kluber, who's just been playing out bad so far this year. Not a normal Corey Kluber start to a year, but at the same time too, you are paying him $10 million, and he's a very accomplished veteran arm who could make adjustments at the Major League level. He's probably not a guy to give up on after only 4 starts, so it makes sense that the Red Sox aren't going to touch him in this rotation either. Then you have Chris Sale, right? And Chris Sale's Chris Sale. You're not going to bring him off of the starting position role, especially after the start he had against the Minnesota Twins, where it looked like he had started to figure out his control issues. It just doesn't seem like the type of guy you would want to either send to the bullpen or send to the minor league level, try to DFA him and sneak him through waivers, right? That just does not make any sense. And then Whitlock deserves the opportunity to be able to try and be a starting pitcher at the Major League level. He's been really, really good in the bullpen. He's had great moments on the mound as a starting pitcher. He deserves that opportunity to try and be a starting pitcher. So if you take a look at the rotation right now, it kind of does make sense. There's not a lot of other options than, hey, sending Brayan Bello down to the minor league level and letting him work out his kinks there before bringing him back up. But there are some things that concern me with this move. One, like we talked about earlier, he has the highest potential on this Red Sox team. You're taking away a prospect in a bridge year who could be a legitimate force in this rotation. Giving him the opportunity to develop and grow at the Major League level could have been super beneficial. And 2, this may mess with his headspace a little bit. What is this going to do with his confidence? Brayan Bello had 1 bad start against the Angels and 1 okay start against the Brewers, and now he's getting sent down to the minor league level. That's got to be a bit of a hit on his ego and on his confidence a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't develop into something more, right? But it is definitely something that could be a concern. I'm not saying that it will be a problem. It's just something that I think about when guys like this get sent down so early on in the season. At the same time too, this could be beneficial for Brayan Bello. 1, he's going to be able to be given the chance to really try and work out those kinks and really try and hammer home his mechanics and get his movement and everything back in order before he's called back up to this Red Sox team. So we could actually see a more mechanically sound Brayan Bello when he comes back up. And 2, this could give him motivation, right? Hey, the Red Sox did not believe in me this first time around. They did not think that I was going to improve quick enough to be a legitimate member of this rotation. I'm going to prove everyone wrong. I'm going to prove the entire organization, everyone who thought that I should be at the minor league level, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to come back up and I'm going to absolutely dominate, right? So it could go both ways here. Could be super beneficial. It could end up leading to some concerns. And honestly, I'm not really sure which way it's going to go. My guess is that Brayan Bello, the guy he is going to take this in stride. He's going to take this as motivation. He's going to take this as an opportunity to fully hammer everything home. So when he does get the opportunity to come back up, he's going to be an entirely different pitcher. Now, this does not mean that Brayan Bello is going to be in the minor league level for all of 2023, right? We're obviously going to see him back on the Red Sox at some point in 2023, but we are going to have to wait a little bit. Unless there is some unforeseen injury, Brayan Bello is at least going to be down in the minor leagues for a minimum of 10 days. That's how long you have to be down there after being optioned, unless, of course, there's an injury. So he's at least going to get 1 to 2 starts at the minor league level before he can even be considered to come back up. But in my opinion, he probably shouldn't be down there for too long. At the maximum he's down there is 1, maybe 2 months. I would doubt 2, but that's where I would put the maximum there for Brayan Bello. Overall, immediately looking at this news, I was shocked. I did not think Brayan Bello was going anywhere in this rotation. I thought he was a surefire for the entire year to be able to let him sort of work out his kinks at the major league level, but it looks like the Red Sox have decided that, hey, let's work on everything at the minor league level without all the pressures of Major League Baseball. And after diving into everything, this move does kind of make sense to me. But does it make sense to you? Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of this latest Red Sox move? Do you think it's a good one? Do you think it's a bad one? Do you think it's going to work out? Do you think it's not going to work out? What are your thoughts on the Red Sox calling up Brennan Bernardino and sending down Brayan Bello? BB for BB. Let me know all your thoughts on the latest Red Sox roster move in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe and that like button. We talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Plus, you made it to the end here, you might as well hit that subscribe button. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you again tomorrow night, not Wednesday, for the live stream at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on this channel and in the Red Seats.